What's up, guys? We are back with a full slate of MLB action here on Tuesday, September 24th. Monday went really well in the MLB streets, guys. It was only a 4-game slate, but we went 2-0. We had the Phillies to win that game at -122. We jumped on that early, got that good price. They came through with a very comfortable win, so I saw a lot of you down in the comments were taking them at -1.5. That was an easy cash for you on that one. We also had the over in that Giants-Arizona Diamondbacks game, over 8.5. That one got home there in the 7th inning, so a 2-0 day on MLB. We've got a great video for you today, guys, with 15 full games to break down and with some red hot playoff races going on. So if you want to win all of your bets today, hit that like button. It's good luck and shows support for the channel and all the hard work we're putting in here every single day. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our daily content. You can now also sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Members get exclusive early access to all NFL and college football videos and get their names up on screen just like right now. I really appreciate the support from all of you guys. Seeing that badge next to your comments absolutely warms my heart. Our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. We have a team of experienced cappers over there for every major sport, currently covering Major League Baseball, NCAA football, UFC, and the NFL, with NHL games coming up very soon. This is one of the best times of the year to be in the mix with so many sports going on. Click the link in the description if you're interested in signing up, and also to join our free email list to get the occasional free or premium picks straight to your inbox, and to track our new $100 to $10,000 challenge, which is going on right now with a massive bet number 4 coming up. Comment below with any bets you're looking at today, and we will give you our best advice on all of them. We are committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day. We've got the Chicago Cubs going on the road to take on the Philadelphia Phillies. The Cubs come into this game eliminated from playoff contention. This is going to be game 2 of their series against the Phillies. In game 1, not looking so hot. The Cubs are actually losing 4-0 in that one in the end of the 4th inning there. Chicago not really having the season they imagined here. They're going to be handing the ball in this one to Justin Steele, who's 5-5 on the year with a 3.03 ERA. He's been one of their bright spots. His last start was a very, very short one back on the 18th. Only went 2 2/3 innings, gave up 2 hits and no runs against the Oakland A's. He gave up 3 walks in what was eventually a 5-3 loss there for the Cubs. I expect him to go deeper into this game. I don't think it really matters too much for the Cubs, obviously, since their season is effectively over, so I don't think they're going to be looking to run him out there for some sort of big pitch count or whatever, but I think we can expect decent things from him in a relatively limited start here, with the Cubs coming off of a bullpen start there yesterday. Generally speaking, the Cubs bullpen has been good this season. No major concerns there, except for the fact they might be a little bit wore out after a bullpen start back on Monday. But this offense, guys, it hasn't been terrible down the stretch. It also hasn't been amazing. This is definitely a team that's, looking to try and figure some stuff out here at the end of the year. They're 13th this season in runs scored, 16th in batting average, so they've been fine, maybe not quite elite though, and they're taking on an elite opponent in this one. The Phillies come into this game looking good so far in their current game, a team that's definitely a contender heading into the playoffs. The Phillies basically have the NL East locked up here with a 5-game lead over the Mets, and they are pretty much been in cruise control here towards the end of the season. We don't have a confirmed starter for the Phillies yet in this game. If it's a bullpen start, the Phillies bullpen has been much better down the stretch, probably over something like the last 20-25 games, something like that. They've been drastically improved, and the offense, while it has had a bit of a rough time, it looks like it's coming alive in their current game, and definitely want to have these guys out there seeing the ball well up there at the plate and ready to go against what's going to be elite pitching once the postseason starts. So looking at the numbers for this game, we see it's a pretty close one according to the odds makers. We have the Cubs at -118, the Phillies at +100. We've got an over-under of 8.5. The Cubs only 38-40 on the road, and the Phillies have the best record at home in the major leagues this season, 52-25 at home on the year. In terms of the over-under, we've got mixed trends, and I'm not really that interested in that over-under of 8.5. I will be leaning towards the Phillies once again in this game. We have to wait and find out some more information about who they're starting in this one, but definitely the Phillies at +100 or anything close to that seems like very good value. Next up, guys, we got the Cincinnati Reds going on the road to take on the Cleveland Guardians. The Reds come into this game. They've been eliminated from playoff contention for a while now. At 76-81 in the year, we've seen them making a coaching change here, firing their coach with only 5 games left. Seems a little bit insensitive to let your manager go without just letting him finish out the end of the season. I'm not really sure what the benefit is to that, but they for sure did it. The Reds come into this game playing okay. They won 2 out of 3 against the Pirates. They're giving the ball to Jacob Junis in this game. He comes into this one, is going to be making his 4th consecutive start, and the first 3 have all been very, very good. A good one at the Mets, a good one at the Cardinals, and a very good one against the Atlanta Braves. Unfortunately for him, all of those games ended in losses for Cincinnati, losing 4-0, 6-1, and 7-1. The offense, the support for him just has not been there, despite the fact he's been throwing the ball very, very well. So we'll see what he can do out there in this start. I'm expecting good things from him. I'm expecting pretty decent stuff from the Reds bullpen, although they haven't been as good down the stretch as they were earlier in the season. A 4.07 ERA coming out of the pen right now obviously doesn't fill me with tons of optimism. The offense looked okay in the first 2 games against the Pirates and then got shut out there in game 3. And yeah, over the course of the year, this team hasn't been great offensively. 26th in the majors in batting average, batting .233 as a team, and 20th in on-base percentage. Obviously, De La Cruz, a very exciting young player. 25 home runs, 60 stolen bases this year. They're hoping he can morph into a superstar, but we'll have to see if he's got the legs, no pun intended, to get the job done in that respect. So we'll see what they can do here against the Cleveland Guardians, a team really without anything to play for. They have clinched the NL Central. Yeah, 90-67 on the year. They just lost 2 out of 3 there at the Cardinals. Yeah, not a team that's in bad shape. Obviously, they're cruising, getting in shape, getting ready for the playoffs here. They're giving the ball to Tanner Bybee, who's 11-8 on the year with a 3.56 ERA. He's been very, very good over his last 4 starts, despite going up against some tough competition. So going up against a team like Cincinnati, I would expect him to be pretty good. He did struggle against them back in June, so that's something to take into account, but we're not too worried about him, and we're certainly not worried about this bullpen that's been the best bullpen in the major leagues this season. The offense has been a bit up and down. They've scored 1, 5, 5, 3, 5, and 1 runs over their last few games. Jose Ramirez doing his thing out there. He's definitely been the best hitter for them this season. They're 15th in the majors in runs scored and 20th in batting average. So looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Guardians as big favorites. The Reds are plus 142. The Guardians are minus 165. We've got an over-under of 7.5 in this one. Cincinnati 37-39 on the road. Cleveland 48-28 at home. We've got both teams showing some small trends towards the over in this spot. And to be honest, I don't hate taking over 7.5 here, but guys, my lean in this one, and I like it quite a bit, is going to be the Cincinnati Reds at plus 142. I've really liked what I've seen from Jacob Eunice out there, and generally speaking, this is just a spot where the Guardians have nothing to play for, and the Reds, with a new manager, they're going to be looking to try and get some wins here at the end of the season to, build some momentum headed into next year. So give me the Reds at plus 142 in this game. It looks like a very solid spot to me. Next up, guys, we've got the Milwaukee Brewers going on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Brewers come into this game fresh off of a win there over Arizona at 89-67 on the year. Milwaukee has already clinched things in the NL Central, so they really don't have that much to play for here down the stretch. They're going to be giving the ball to Tobias Myers, who's 8-6 on the year with a 3.05 ERA. His last start was against Arizona, and he didn't have a great time, giving up 4 hits over 4 innings and 3 runs. Only one of them was earned, but not his best stuff. That being said, obviously, the priority here has to be health and not necessarily success. The last time he went up against the Pirates, he pitched 8 innings, gave up 4 hits and 0 runs. So a dominant start against the Pirates, although obviously they're not going to want to be letting him pitch 8 innings in this game. Don't want to be fatiguing these guys that they are going to need desperately in the playoffs. In terms of their bullpen, Milwaukee's been very, very good all season long. They're currently second in the majors with a 3.20 bullpen ERA. Obviously, nothing wrong with that. And the offense is coming off of a game where they scored 10 runs. That's great, but 10, 0, 4, 1, and 2 runs over their last few games. Not swinging the hottest bats here, and you need to be swinging some hot bats going into the postseason. Although, there's a little bit of time off leading up to the postseason, so it's probably not a huge concern for a team that's 5th in the majors in runs scored this season and 8th in batting average. The Pirates come into this game obviously eliminated from playoff contention. They just won their last game of that 3-game series against Cincinnati, but cannot be too excited about anything outside of Paul Skeens this season for the Pirates, who at 73-83 definitely didn't really contend there in the NL Central. They're going to be giving the ball to Bailey Falter, who's 8-8 this year with a 4.15 ERA. His last start was decent against the Cardinals. Start before that was dominant against the Marlins. He's been pretty good here down the stretch. Going up against the Milwaukee Brewers this season, he hasn't faced them since back in April, so we don't even really care that he had a great outing against them. It was so long ago. So we'll see what he does in this one. In terms of their bullpen, we've seen some pretty bad stuff from the Pirates this season. They're currently 25th in the majors with a 4.55 bullpen ERA, so we don't love that, and the offense hasn't been much better. Brian Reynolds not nearly as good after the All-Star break as he was before the All-Star break, and they've scored 2, 1, 3, 3, and 5 runs over their last few games, so not really swinging the bats that well. And looking at the numbers for this one, we've got the Brewers at minus 136, the Pirates at plus 120. We've got an over-under of 8.5 in this game. Milwaukee is 44-34 on the road. The Pirates are 38-40 at home. We've actually got both teams showing some slight trends towards the over in this spot. And guys, honestly, I think my favorite lean on this one is to go ahead and take the under. I think we're going to see decent stuff from Myers, given, he probably won't be out there that long. And I think we'll see good stuff from the Brewers bullpen. It's been solid all year. And I do think Bailey Falter, throwing the ball pretty well in this one, is going to be wanting to finish his season off strong. So yeah, go ahead and give me under 8.5. And in turn, guys, I also think the Pirates at plus 120 is relatively reasonable. It's not going in the pin comment or anything like that. And I don't think anything is from this game. We don't have the correct, motivations for either teams. But generally speaking, I think the plays in this one are the under or the Pirates. Hey guys, jumping in here with a quick ad break. First of all, this is a great time to sign up at stumpthespread.com. Signing up for a premium membership gets you access to our entire team of cappers covering MLB, NCAA football, UFC, and the NFL. If you just want to test out the service, a great way to do that is by joining our free email list, which will get you the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Just go ahead and click that link in the description. It'll take you right over to stumpthespread.com. Also, guys, just to clarify some of the questions we've been getting in the emails and in the comments, I am not the MLB capper for stumpthespread.com. These YouTube picks are obviously free to everyone and are just what I am seeing out there. We have an expert with nearly 15 years of experience that covers MLB and has a very strong algorithm and some very cool tools that he uses to bring our premium members the best picks possible. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're new. Now back to the games. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Tampa Bay Rays going on the road to take on the Detroit Tigers. The Rays come into this game winners of their last 4 in a row and 5 out of their last 6 overall. Kind of unfortunate here that they're going to need basically a miracle for them to end up in the postseason. I mean, they're 4 games back right now of the Tigers and the Kansas City Royals, who are fighting it out for that last spot in the American League. But Tampa Bay, technically not dead yet. They're going to be giving the ball to Ryan Pepio, who's 8-6 this year with a 3.64 ERA. His last start was against Boston. He was lights out, 6 innings, 2 hits, only a single earned run. He struck out 12 in that game, a game that we saw Tampa Bay eventually lose 2-1. That total, complete lack of offense really coming back to bite them. The Tampa Bay Rays bullpen has been good down the stretch as well, guys. Definitely up there in the top half of the majors. And the real problem is just this offense. They've scored 4, 3, 1, 2, and 1 runs over their last few. That's just not going to get the job done. They are 29th in runs scored and 29th in slugging percentage. So we'll see what they can do here against the Tigers, who come into this game winners of their last 2 in a row at 82 and 74 on the year. They currently find themselves right there, tied with the Kansas City Royals in the race for that last wild card spot in the American League. They're going to be giving the ball to Tariq Skubal in this game. They've got to be pumped about that. His last start was very good at Kansas City. 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, only a single earned run allowed. He hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in any of his last 4 starts. So very, very good stuff there. We'll see what he looks like against the Tampa Bay Rays. Obviously not a team that's been hitting the ball very well this season or lately. The last time we faced them was back in April, and he was absolutely dominant. So obviously that's a long time ago, but we're expecting good stuff from Skubal in this game, no doubt about that. And the Tigers bullpen down the stretch has been amazing. A 3.60 bullpen ERA has them tied for 4th place in the major league. So yeah, very, very good stuff from the pitching staff. The question is, are they going to be able to put up offense? They scored 4, 6, and 1 runs in their 3-game series there against Baltimore, and 4, 3, and 7 runs in their 3-game series at the Royals. So we'll see. This obviously is not a great offensive team, tied for 18th in the majors in runs scored and 24th in batting average. So looking at the numbers for this one, we've got the Rays at plus 158, the Tigers at minus 164. We've got an over-under of 7 in this game. Tampa Bay only 36 and 39 on the road. Detroit only 39 and 36 at home. So nobody really dominant there. We've got both teams showing trends towards the under, pretty substantial trends, but with an over-under of only 7, do we really want to bet the under? I mean, I think that's the best value on the over-under here. I think we're going to see offense at an absolute premium in this game, and since I think it's going to be a very close, very low scoring game, that makes me like the underdog a little bit, guys. So give me the under, give me the Tampa Bay Rays at plus 158 in this one. I think it'll be a very close game, but is this going in the pinned comment? Seems unlikely to me. Taking an under of 7 is pretty bold stuff. Next up, guys, we've got the Kansas City Royals going on the road to take on the Washington Nationals. The Royals come into this game currently tied there with the Tigers, like we were just saying, in that race for the last American League wildcard spot. They're going to be giving the ball to Cole Rangans, hoping he can right the ship for them. They are currently on a 7-game losing streak. They have just been falling apart here down the stretch, mostly due to their offense. Rangans comes into this game 11-9 on the year with a 3.24 ERA. His last start was great against Detroit, but it was a game Kansas City lost 3-1 in 10 innings. Rangans went 7 7 innings, gave up 4 hits, only a single earned run in that game. And generally speaking, he's been throwing the ball great here down the stretch. Going up against the Washington Nationals, apparently a team that he has not faced yet this season, which is a little bit surprising. But Rangan's definitely a monster out there. Expecting very good stuff from him. Not exactly expecting miracles from the Royals bullpen, though. A 4.33 bullpen ERA. The bullpen has been one of the major reasons this team has had such a rough time down the stretch, and the offense is the for sure main reason, guys. 0, 0, 1, 2, 1, and 6 runs over their last few. That is not going to get the job done, guys. Not going to get the job done at all. I mean, going against San Francisco and Detroit, obviously not the easiest opponents, but also not teams you need to be getting swept by. The Royals have had a very high, very low lows this season on offense, and right now they're swinging some ice-cold bats, taking on the Nationals, who come into this one not having a great time either. They've lost 6 out of their last 7 here to fall to 69 and 87 on the year. They've been eliminated for a while now. They're giving the ball to Mitchell Parker, who's 7 and 10 on the season with a 4.44 ERA, and he got shelled his last time out, getting destroyed at the Mets, and before that he had a questionable start against Miami and a pretty bad start at the Pirates. Definitely seems like this young guy's a bit exhausted here at the end of the year. So not expecting good stuff from Mitchell Parker. Also not expecting good stuff from that Washington bullpen that's down in the bottom half of the league with a 4.18 bullpen ERA. And it's not like their bats have been killing it either, guys. 0, 5, 1, 6, 0, and 1 run over their last few. Demoting CJ Abrams, definitely a pretty bold choice. The dude was out all night. Your season's over. Like, I don't know what you're really freaking out about here, but I guess trying to, set some sort of standard there. But whatever, guys. If he's not playing, that doesn't help. And just generally speaking, not a lot of positives for this offense that's 24th in the majors in runs scored and 24th in slugging percentage. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we got the Royals at minus 160, the Nationals at plus 136. We've got an over-under of 8 in this one. The Royals are only 37 and 38 on the road. Washington is 36 and 39 at home. We've got both teams showing trends towards the under here with an over-under of 8. I'm not sure if that's something we're super interested in, but both teams are swinging some very cold bats coming into this game, so you could probably talk me into the under if you're determined to bet on the over-under here. But guys, I like the Royals at minus 1.5 in this game. If you take a minus 1.5, you can get them at plus 102, and against this Nationals team with a struggling Mitchell Parks out there, I think they win this game comfortably by at least 2 runs in what has to be an absolute must-win desperation situation for the Kansas City Royals. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Baltimore Orioles going on the road to take on the New York Yankees. Things have not really aligned for this to be a super high stakes series, with Baltimore falling 6 games back of the Yankees there in the AL East. The Orioles still looking very good there for that, getting close to being able to clinch the top spot in the wild card race out there in the American League. But in this game, they're going to be hitting the ball to Dean Kremer, who's 7 and 10 on the year with a 4.19 ERA. His last start, guys, he didn't look great against the Giants. I mean, 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 runs overall, and 2 home runs in that game. That is not great. Definitely a departure for him having 2 very solid starts in a row. We'll see what he can do here against the Yankees, obviously. I mean, a team he faced back in April and was decent against. He's missed some time this season, so only that 1 start against the Yankees this year. We'll see what he can do. Obviously, somebody coming into this game, in need of something of a bounce back, but going up against the Yankees, no easy task. The Orioles bullpen hasn't been great this year down the stretch. A 4.12 ERA coming out of the pen is kind of problematic, and the bats have really deserted them here at the end of the year, which is a really troubling thing with the playoffs approaching very quick. 3, 4, 7, 5, 3, and 0 runs over their last few. This was the best, highest flying, just insane offense in the middle of the year, and things just aren't continuing that way. They're down to 7th in runs scored, 3rd in slugging percentage after being 1st in slugging percentage basically all year long. Like, this team just not swinging the hottest bats here at the end of the year, and they're taking on the Yankees, who come into this game fresh off a 3-game sweep at Oakland. 92 and 64 on the year. The Yankees doing everything they can here to finish the season off strong and looking to clinch things here in the American League East. Things looking great for the Yankees. They're giving the ball to Clark Schmidt in this game, who's 5 and 4 in the season with a 2.37 ERA. His last start was on the 19th against Seattle, and he was decent out there. I mean, 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. Only 1 of them was earned. He had 3 walks and 7 strikeouts in that game, and has been very good here over his 3 recent starts for the Yankees. A great start against the Cubs, a great start against the Red Sox, and then maybe a little bit of trouble there against Seattle. So I'm expecting pretty good stuff from Schmidt here going up, even against what used to be a hard-hitting team in the Orioles. The Yankees bullpen has been pretty solid this year. I mean, it looked like they were going to be one of the best 1 or 2 bullpens in the majors, but settling with a 3.60 bullpen ERA has them easily top 10, and the offense has come alive, guys. 7, 10, and 4 runs over their last few games. Aaron Judge killing it. Everybody really killing it. I mean, 3rd in runs scored, 9th in batting average, 4th in slugging percentage. This is an absolutely deadly offensive team. So looking at the numbers for this one, we've got the Orioles at plus 142, the Yankees at minus 160. We've got an over-under of 8.5 in this game. Baltimore is 42 and 33 on the road. The Yankees are 42 and 33 at home. We've got both teams showing trends towards the over in this spot. And guys, I think the over is probably the better value in this game. I'm not really that interested in the side on this one. If you're forcing me to bet a side in this one, I guess I like the Yankees here a little bit, but getting over 8.5 runs, given these two starters and these two bullpens, especially that Baltimore bullpen, I think we can get to 9 runs pretty comfortably. So give me over 8.5 in this one. I think it's got some value. Next on the docket, we've got the Boston Red Sox going on the road to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. These two teams are currently playing right now, guys. Boston is up 3-0 there in the top of the 4th inning. So things looking pretty decent for Boston, who comes into this game definitely, I mean, they're still technically alive. I mean, 4 games back there in the American League wildcard race. They're going to be giving the ball to Brian Bello, who's 14-8 on the year with a 4.49 ERA. His last 3 starts have all been very, very good. Great start at Tampa Bay and a 2-0 loss there for the Red Sox. A very good start at the Yankees and a great start at home against Baltimore. So yeah, really cannot fault what we're seeing from him right now. I mean, his last time against Toronto was back on the 28th of last month. 8 innings, 2 hits, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 0 runs allowed. So yeah, absolutely dominant stuff from Bello recently and in this matchup. The Red Sox bullpen, can't exactly say the same for them. Yeah, a 4.48 bullpen ERA over the course of the season is not great, and it's not like they've been looking amazing lately either. The bats for Boston have come alive, guys. They're doing well in their current game. They scored 9 and 8 runs respectively in their last 2 games against the Twins in that series. So things looking up for an offense that completely abandoned them late in the season. That was a big reason for their slide and a big reason that they're very unlikely to be in the playoffs this year. But they're still 9th in runs scored and 6th in batting average this season. So we'll see what they can do going up against the Blue Jays, who have obviously been eliminated from playoff contention for a bit. They're going to be giving the ball to Bowden Francis in this game, who's been insane down the stretch. A 3.47 ERA so far this season. Very, very good. He almost had a no-hitter there against the Mets back on the 11th. On the 18th against the Rangers, a very good start there as well, but the dude's getting absolutely no run support. The last time he faced Boston, 7 innings, 1 hit, 5 strikeouts, no walks, no runs allowed in a 2-0 win there for Toronto. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously, 2 pitchers coming into this game with tons of success against their opponents, and looking at the bullpen there for Toronto, that's been a big problem down the stretch. A 4.74 bullpen ERA. I say down the stretch. Actually, all season long, this bullpen has been horrendous. So we'll see how they look here. I mean, maybe they can have a little bit of bounce back, or we could see Francis go super deep into this game and relieve a lot of the pressure there. In terms of their offense, the Blue Jays not having a good time this season or down the stretch. 3-2-0, 4-0 runs over their last few games. 20th in runs scored, 20th in slugging percentage. This has just not been a very good offensive team. So looking at the numbers for this one, we see the Red Sox at plus 114, the Blue Jays at minus 120. We've got an over-under of 7.5 in this one. Boston is 41 and 37 on the road. Toronto is 38 and 37 at home. We've got both teams showing significant trends towards the over in this spot this season, but we're not interested in the over. We're more leaning towards the under, if anything, with these two pitchers having such excellent history against each other. And if you're asking me for a bet on the side in this game, guys, I'm leaning towards the Blue Jays at minus 120. It seems like a team that would definitely like to play spoiler, and Bowden Francis going to want to keep up what has been a very, very impressive end to his season. So yeah, slightly leaning towards the under, slightly leaning towards the Blue Jays at minus 120, but this one not very likely to go in the pinned comment. Next on the docket, guys, we have a very, very crucial game between the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves, 2 teams that are fighting it out to try to make it into the wild card spot there, the wild card conversation in the National League. Yeah, I mean, the Mets currently in that spot tied with the Diamondbacks. The Braves are 2 games back, so this game has very, very high stakes. The Mets come into it fresh off of winning 3 out of 4 against the Phillies. Great stuff from the Mets there. They're going to be giving the ball to Luis Severino in this game, who's 11 and 6 on the season with a 3.79 ERA. He comes in this game fresh off a decent start against the Phillies. 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs. I'm not going to say he dominated, but pretty good stuff, especially considering the fact he faced the Phillies 2 starts in a row. That can get a little bit tricky sometimes. The last time he went up against the Atlanta Braves was back in July, and he was very good, or kind of good, I guess. 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs in what was eventually a 3-2 win there for the Mets. So we'll see if he can do a little bit better than that. It might be necessary here, and we'll see what kind of support he gets from the Mets bullpen. A 3.99 bullpen bullpen ERA for them over the course of the season. And here down the stretch, I would say they've been pretty freaking good at coming out of the pen. So yeah, we'll see how things work out there. And the offense has been solid as well. I mean, 2, 6, 2, 10, 10, and 10 runs over their last few games. Very, very good stuff. Obviously, they're going to need to see Francisco Lindor get back out there and, look pretty good. Obviously, missing time with the back issue, you're going to need him out there and playing well here in these last few games of the season. It's a very, very big deal. All the news is that he's optimistic that he's going to play before the regular season ends. But guys, that's not very helpful. We need to know if he's going to play tonight, and we unfortunately do not have that information yet. So keep an eye on his availability, but really, we just don't know. And with him out there, the Mets offense is very, very good. Without him, obviously it takes a bit of a hit. We'll see what they can do here against the desperate Atlanta Braves, who just won 2 out of 3 against the Marlins at 85 and 71 on the year, 2 games back in the wild card hunt there in the National League. They're going to give him the ball to Spencer Schwellenbach, this 24-year-old in a pretty big pressure situation, 7-7 on the year, a 3.61 ERA. He's been very good this season, especially down the stretch. Hasn't given up more than 3 earned runs in any of his last 5 starts, including a gem against the Dodgers, a very good game against the Phillies. This dude has been putting in work here down the stretch. So pretty much expecting good stuff from him. Going up against the Mets has to feel great for this dude. The last time he faced them, 7 innings, 2 hits, 11 strikeouts, no runs allowed, and what was a 4-0 win there for the Atlanta Braves. So pitching at home, he's got to be feeling pretty good. Looking at the Atlanta Braves bullpen, definitely somewhere they have an edge in this game, a 3.31 bullpen ERA. They've been one of the best 2 or 3 bullpens in Major League Baseball basically all season. The question for this team comes down to how much offense can they really produce. I mean, 5, 6, 3, 15, 7, and 5 runs over their last few. Definitely the bats have gotten going a little bit. They do still depend a lot on Ozuna for this offense, but 16th in runs scored in the majors this season, 14th in batting average, 10th in slugging percentage though, and we've seen signs of life recently, so we'll see what they can get done here going up against a pitcher that they had some success against the last time they faced him. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Mets at plus 118, the Braves at minus 130. We've got an over-under of 8 out there. The Mets are 40 and 34 on the road. Atlanta is 42 and 33 at home. We see mixed trends here towards the over-under. Atlanta is actually the best under team in the majors when playing at home. They are 49, 25, and 1 to the under. So yeah, guys, I definitely think under 8 has some value in this game. I don't think there's any way around that, especially if we're going to see Lindor out for this game for the Mets. Definitely want to be leaning towards the under, but I also like the Atlanta Braves at minus 130. I think Schwellenbach is going to have a good time out there. I think he'll rise to the occasion, and I do worry about Severino and his a little bit of negative history there going up against the Braves. So go ahead and give me the more desperate team playing at home in this one. Give me Atlanta at minus 113 and a lean towards that under. Next on the docket, guys, we've got what is technically a meaningless game between the Los Angeles Angels and the Chicago White Sox. Both teams well and truly eliminated from playoff contention. The Angels come into this game fresh off of winning 1 out of 4 there at Houston. They're giving the ball to young Jack Kohanowitz, who's 23 years old and comes into this game 2-5 on the year with a 4.56 ERA. His last start was against the White Sox. It was a very good one. 7 innings, 5 hits, only a single run allowed, and that was a 4-3 win there in 13 innings for the Angels. So yeah, not a super pretty game, and I would say he's been a little bit inconsistent here down the stretch, but he's a very young guy, obviously, and I think he's got a bright future. The question is, will he be able to develop the kind of consistency you need to be an every 5th day MLB starter? The Angels bullpen has not been great this season, but much better down the stretch. Currently right there, maybe even slightly above average on the year with a 3.88 bullpen ERA, but definitely not a bullpen that we have complete trust in. Although, like I said, down the stretch, they've been much better. The offense has been the biggest Achilles heel for this team. They're 27th in runs scored, 28th in batting average, batting .230 as a team, and 27th in the majors in on-base percentage, getting on base at a 301 clip. Not a lot of very dangerous bats out there for the Angels. So we'll see what they can do going up against the White Sox, who come into this game losers of their last 5 in a row. So pretty short losing streak there. They just got swept by the Padres. They're going to be in the ball to Jonathan Cannon, who's 4-10 on the year with a 4.61 ERA. This young dude has one of the best pitching names you could possibly have. So I'm hoping he'll have success in his career. The last time he faced the Angels was back on the 16th. 6 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 4 earned runs. He gave up 2 home runs in that game, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, and was eventually an 8-4 win there for the White Sox. So yeah, we'll see if he can get that kind of run support in this one. I think we're going to need to see him throw the ball a little bit better out there to find success. And once he comes out of the game, guys, then you've got the White Sox bullpen. They are the second worst pen in the majors with a 4.82 bullpen ERA. Just not a very good pitching staff, generally speaking. Not a very good bullpen unit. They've had some starters that have shown some promise this year, but things still looking pretty dark there for the White Sox, especially on offense, where they've been the worst offensive team in the majors this season. 3 and 0 runs over their last few games. Dead last in runs scored, dead last in batting average, dead last in on-base percentage, and to complete the trifecta, dead last there in slugging percentage. So not going to waste a lot of time talking about this offense. They are atrocious. So look at the numbers for this game. We've got the Angels at -112, the White Sox at +102. We've got an over-under of 8 in this one. The Angels are 31-47 on the road. The White Sox are 20-58 at home. That's an MLB worst mark at home. We've got mixed trends here towards the over-under. Not that interested in the over-under, guys. I'm more interested in just taking the Angels at -112 in this game. I think we'll see good stuff here from Kohanowitz against a team he's already had success against, and Jonathan Cannon has not been that good here down the stretch this season and recently had a rough time against the Angels, so go ahead and give me the Angels in this one. I think they get a win here, even though it doesn't really mean too much. Next on the docket, we've got the Miami Marlins going on the road to take on the Minnesota Twins. The Marlins come into this game obviously not, having a great time this season. 57-99 on the year. They've been eliminated for quite a while. They're giving the ball to Ryan Weathers in this one. He's 3-6 this year with a 3.94 ERA. His last start, he got shelled by the Dodgers. Start before that, very short outing. Didn't really look that great against Cleveland either. The dude's been having a rough time here down the stretch. No major secret there. Starting pitching for the Marlins has not been great this season. Now he's got to go up against the Twins, a team that's fully in desperation mode. So yeah, expecting Ryan Weathers to have a little bit of trouble weathering the storm in this one, and that Marlins bullpen has been bad down the stretch this season, definitely in the bottom 5 or 10 bullpens in Major League Baseball. So not a lot of positives for the pitching staff and not a ton of positives there for the offense either. 5-2-4-4 and 11 runs over their last few games. They did have that big offensive outburst against the Dodgers, but then they gave up 20 runs to the Dodgers in the last game of that series, that insane Ohtani game. So yeah, not loving life right now if you're a Marlins fan or a Marlins player. They're 28th in the majors in runs scored, 29th in on-base percentage. This just isn't a very good team. So we'll see what they can do here against the Twins, who come into this one really struggling down the stretch, guys. A terrible time for them to lose 4 out of 5. Right now, they are technically still, only one game back there in the American League wild card chasing down or trying to chase down the Tigers and the Royals. So we'll see how that one goes. Obviously, they've got the Mariners only 2 games back too. So yeah, things very tough for a Twins team that has to be in desperation mode right now, but they're having a rough time. They're giving the ball to Bailey Ober, who's 12-7 this year with a 3.84 ERA. His last start was at Cleveland. 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 12 strikeouts in that game, but he gave up 2 home runs, and we eventually saw the Twins lose that game in 10 innings, 5-4. So yeah, a little bit concerning there. We'll see how he does against the Marlins. I'm obviously expecting good stuff from him and good stuff from the bullpen in this game. I mean, the Twins pitching staff has been pretty solid this year. Obviously, the bullpen hasn't been great down the stretch, but when you're going up against a team like the Marlins, I'm going to expect you to do pretty well, especially when you're in desperation mode. The offense has been a big problem here at the end of the year, guys. 3-1, 4-2, and 4 runs over the last few games. Not going to get the job done. They've gotten a little bit banged up here down the stretch. That's not great. They're 11th in the majors in runs scored, 12th in the majors in batting average, but right now not swinging the hottest bats. So looking at the numbers for this game, not too shocking to see the Marlins as big underdogs. They're +205. The Twins are -240. We've got an over-under of 8 in this game. The Marlins are 27-48 on the road. The Twins are 42-33 at home. Guys, I think the Twins are going to win this game. No big shocker there. They have to be very desperate for wins right now, and you cannot be losing games to teams like the Marlins. I don't know if I'm interested in paying that kind of price or taking them at -1.5. I guess that's what you would have to do, so go for that if you're interested, but not too interested in this game generally speaking, and really not that interested in the over-under either. I mean, the Marlins are a huge under team on the road, and the Twins are swinging some pretty cold bats, so I guess you could side with under 8, but really this is going to be a stay-away spot for me. Next on the docket, we've got a very pivotal game between the Seattle Mariners and the Houston Astros. The Mariners and Astros are playing right now. They actually just started their game off, so we're looking at game 2 of that series, where the Mariners are slated to hand the ball to Logan Gilbert, who's 8-11 on the year with a 3.24 ERA. Right now, guys, the Mariners 2 games back in the American League wild card race, and I think they still technically have a chance of catching Houston there just to win their division, but that's going to be a very tough thing to do with a 5-game deficit deficit. So we'll see what Gilbert can do with that out there on the mound. I mean, he comes into this game fresh off of a decent one against the Yankees. He's had some ups and downs here late in the season. Maybe hasn't been quite as consistent as he was before the All-Star break. The last time he faced the Astros, he had a rough time back in late May, but in early May, he nearly shut them out. It had an 8-inning start against them. So yeah, we'll see what we get from him in this one. I'm a little bit worried about him, though. A little bit worried about the Seattle bullpen. Seems like a strong way to put it. This bullpen's been very, very good down the stretch. The problem for Seattle, as always, is are they going to come up with any offense? It's been a literally hit or miss situation for them. They've tried to make some moves at the trade deadline, but the offense did not get much better. It's still 29th in batting average and 22nd in runs scored. So we'll see what they can do here against the Astros, who are looking to lock things down. Alvarez out of the lineup there, on Monday. So we'll see if he's back for Tuesday from that bruised knee. Yeah, we'll just see how that one goes, guys. They're giving the ball to Framber Valdez in this game, who's 14-7 on the year with a 2.85 ERA. They're expecting big stuff from him, especially in the playoffs. And guys, over his last 4 starts, he hasn't given up more than 1 earned run, and those are starts against the Royals, the Diamondbacks, the A's, and the Padres. So elite stuff from Valdez, expecting good stuff from him going up against the Seattle team that has been very, very bad at the plate. And the Astros bullpen's been excellent down the stretch this year. They're top 5 in the majors right now in bullpen ERA. The offense has been the question for this team, and recently it's been very, very good. Over their last few games, they scored 8, 10, 9, 3, and 0 runs. Definitely a step up for a team that's been very inconsistent at the plate this year. They're 3rd in batting average, 10th in runs scored, though, 8th in slugging percentage. It's gotten a little bit better down the stretch, but this was a team that was putting up great numbers and very few runs. So looking at the numbers for this game, Seattle, not a very good road team. Houston, a very good home team. We see the Astros as significant favorites at -162. The Mariners are +136. Seattle's a huge over team on the road, which is crazy. They're the MLB best to the over team when playing away from home. Houston, an under team at home. That over-under of 7.5, not very interested in that. I would maybe lean towards under, if anything. And guys, I'm going to be leaning towards the Astros at -162 to win this game, but it's way too close to call. That's not a price that I'm in love with, and we could see great things from Logan Gilbert in this game. So generally speaking, this spot pretty much going to be a pass for me. Next up, guys, we're looking at a meaningless game in terms of the standings there between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Colorado Rockies. The Cardinals come into this game, not the season they imagined. It looks like there's very likely going to be some wholesale changes made for this team and this organization in the offseason. They're giving the ball in this one to Michael McGreevy. This 24-year-old has looked great in his very limited major league experience this year. I mean, he's 2-0 with a .90 ERA. His last outing was 3 very good innings against the Pirates, and his outing before that was back in July 31st, he had a spot start there against the Rangers. 7 innings, 5 hits, only 1 earned run allowed in that game. So very, very good stuff. I'm expecting him to look good out there, despite the fact he's going to be pitching in a very, very tough spot. But I think we're going to see good stuff from Michael McGreevy in this game. And the Cardinals bullpen's been very good all season long, pretty much, except for the very beginning there. They're currently 7th in the majors with a 3.65 bullpen ERA. And this is a team that's been pretty good in terms of the pitching staff. They've been okay in terms of the pitching staff, but the real problem has been offensively, guys. 2, 6, 1, 2, 10, 3, and 4 runs over their last few has honestly been much better than their season average. They're 25th in the majors in runs scored and 21st in slugging percentage. Down years for some veteran hitters have been very problematic. So we'll see what they can do here against the Rockies, who come into this game. Obviously, they've been eliminated for quite some time. They just lost 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers and weren't really going nuts at the plate in those games. They're giving the ball to Ryan Feldner, who's 3-10 this year with a 4.73 ERA. This dude has been absolutely dealing out there over his last 3 starts. Great stuff at Milwaukee, at Detroit, and then at home against Arizona. And we've seen the Rockies win all 3 of those games. So absolutely elite performances from him. He's thrown the ball great here at the end of the season. Absolutely no doubt about it. The Rockies bullpen obviously hasn't been insane this year. They've been the worst bullpen in recent memory. A 5.31 bullpen ERA is cartoonishly bad, but they've maybe found a way to get a little bit better here down the stretch. So we're going to give them a little bit of credit. And the Rockies offense has been a problem this season, guys. I mean, when you're below average and get to play half your games at Coors Field, that's pretty embarrassing. And down the stretch, they haven't been hitting the ball particularly well. And they're going up against a kind of tough pitching matchup, in my opinion, for this game. So looking at the numbers, we got the Cardinals at -118, the Rockies at +110. We got over-unders out there of 11 or 10.5. The Cardinals 35-40 on the road, the Rockies 36-37 at home. We got both teams showing trends towards the under in this spot, and that's the bet that I'm most interested in this game. I really like under 11. I think we're going to see both of these pitchers have a very good time. The really only way I think this gets out of hand is if we see one of these bullpens, probably the Rockies, go through some sort of implosion. Neither one of these teams are very good offensively, so give me the under in this one. And if you're asking for a side, I think the Rockies at plus 110 is also some very reasonable value. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we've got a matchup between the San Francisco Giants and the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Giants come into this game winners of 5 out of their last 6 overall, despite being eliminated from playoff contention. They're going to be giving the ball to Logan Webb, who's 12-10 this year with a 3.58 ERA. He's looked much more hittable over the last few starts. Over his last 5 starts, he's given up at least 3 earned runs in each one of those games, and we see the Giants are only 2-3 in those starts. So yeah, not great what we're seeing from Logan Webb down the stretch, probably as he lost hope in this season. In terms of their bullpen, the Giants have had a rough time this year. They've gotten a little bit better down the stretch, but a 3.96 bullpen ERA, not obviously ideal. And guys, the offense, they've kind of turned it on here at the end of the year. I mean, I don't know, 2, 9, 2, 3, 5, and 10 runs over their last few. They're 17th in the majors in runs scored, 22nd in batting average. This is not an elite offensive team. So we'll see what they can get done here against a very elite offensive team, the Diamondbacks, who come into this game with a lot still to fight for, guys. They are currently sitting tied with the Mets for that last wild card spot in the National League. So they've got to play their hearts out down the stretch to make this playoff dream a reality. They're going to be giving the ball to Brandon Pfaadt, who's 10-9 this year with a 4.66 ERA, but coming off of an excellent start against the Brewers. He got shelled by the Brewers on the 14th and then shut down the Brewers on the 19th, going 7 innings, giving up 2 hits, only a single earned run, and striking out 12. So we'll see what he can get done here going up against the Giants. Obviously not the toughest hitting team, but probably also not the easiest. He somehow has not faced them yet this season, so it'll be very interesting to see what he can do out there. I'm hoping for good things for this young guy. In terms of the bullpen, Arizona's been pretty bad. A 4.22 bullpen ERA has been one of the main reasons this team in general hasn't been just ultra elite, because the offense has been wild. 9, 5, 7, 5, 9, 2, 2, and 11 runs over their last few games. They're first in the majors in runs scored, second in batting average, and first in on-base percentage. Guys, this is probably the best offense in the major leagues right now. So looking at the numbers for this one, we got the Giants at plus 122, the Diamondbacks at minus 135. We've got an over and under of 8 out there. San Francisco 36-41 on the road, Arizona 42-33 at home. So that's pretty solid. We got both teams showing significant trends towards the over in this spot, which I think is very, very interesting. San Francisco 44-29-4 to the over on the road, and Arizona 46-27-2 to the over at home. And with an over under out there of only 8, I think we are definitely going to be siding towards the over in this one, despite there being some decent arms on the mound. Guys, over 8 seems like the best lean in this one, and I also wouldn't argue too much if you wanted to take the Diamondbacks at minus 135, but over 8, definitely a good spot and definitely going in the pinned comment. Next up, we've got the Texas Rangers going on the road to take on the Oakland A's in a battle between two teams that are eliminated from playoff contention. The Rangers are going to be hitting the ball in this one to Nathan Eovaldi, who's 11-8 this year with a 3.96 ERA. He's pretty much been their ace. Unfortunately, his last time out, he got shelled by the Toronto Blue Jays, so that's not a great look. And yeah, probably we're going to see some guys running out of motivation here at the end of the year, and seasons that did not exactly end the way they were hoping for. He's been good this season, but don't really trust him right here necessarily. And the Rangers bullpen has also been horrible this year. Definitely one of the reasons they've had some struggles. Yeah, guys, this offense also hasn't been great. I mean, 6, 4, 2, 0, and 2 runs over their last few doesn't really fill me with tons of optimism, and they're in the bottom third of the league in all the major hitting categories. So we'll see what they can do here against the A's, who have probably been used to being eliminated from playoff contention for quite some time. They are 67-89 on the year. Giving the ball to Mitch Spence in this one, who's 8-9 this season with a 4.30 ERA. His last 5 starts have all been very, very respectable, including a very good start at the Rangers where he went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, and 2 earned runs. So we'll see if he can replicate that performance a little bit, getting to pitch here at home. And the dude's been throwing the ball really well down the stretch. The Oakland bullpen hasn't looked as great down the stretch, but a 3.92 bullpen ERA is not the end of the world, and they were looking very, very good at different points this season. The problem for this team has been their lack of offense. 4, 0, 2, 5, 4, and 2 runs over their last few. Brent Rooker's been doing amazing things for this team. Definitely a great piece to be moving around, and we've got all the emotions of they're playing these are going to be some of the last games that are played at the Coliseum. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we've got the Rangers at minus 112, the A's at plus 100. We've got an over-under of 8 out there. The Rangers are only 30-45 on the road. Oakland is 36-42 at home. We got mixed trends here towards the over-under, but I'm not too interested in the over-under, guys. I'm interested in taking the A's at plus 100 in this game. Is this going to go in the pinned comment? It seems like a bit of a long shot to me, but I do like how Mitch Spence is throwing the ball here down the stretch, and going up against a team like the Rangers that he's got success against and that hasn't had anything to play for a bit now and has to be a little bit disappointed with the way the season went, I think Oakland is in a very reasonable spot. Last but not least, guys, we're looking at the San Diego Padres going on the road to take on the LA Dodgers. The Padres and Dodgers are only separated by 3 games there in the NL West, with the Dodgers having a 3-game lead over the Padres, who come into this game winners of their last 4 in a row and 8 of their last 9 overall. They're giving the ball to Michael King, who's 12-9 this season with a 3.04 ERA. His last start was against Houston, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. Very, very solid stuff. Unfortunately for him, his team lost that game in 10 innings. So that's obviously not what he had in mind. The last time he faced the Dodgers was back in May, and he was lights out, 7 innings, 2 hits, 11 strikeouts, 3 walks, and no runs allowed in a 2-1 win there for the Padres. So he'll be hoping to replicate something like that, and the Padres will be hoping to see good stuff from their bullpen that's been much better over the course of the season. A 3.75 bullpen ERA is definitely solid, and the offense has been very good down the stretch. Maybe very good is a little bit too much credit, but 8th in the majors in runs scored, 1st in the majors in batting average. This is a very, very good hitting team, especially now that they're healthy. So things looking up here for the Padres as they attempt to put pressure here on the Dodgers, who come into this game winners of 4 out of their last 5. They're going to be giving the ball to Landon Knack, who's 3-4 this season with a 3.39 ERA. His last start, he absolutely dominated the Marlins. 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs allowed, and 7 strikeouts. So for that, he got shelled by Atlanta. So we'll see what he can do here against a pretty solid Padres team that he has not faced yet this season. In terms of their bullpen, the Dodgers have been very, very good this year. A 3.66 ERA coming out of the pen. No major problems there. The offense has been great, guys. Ohtani, absolute monster. I mean, yeah, they've scored 6, 3, 6, 28, and 9 runs over their last few games. With Ohtani, they're leading the way. 2nd in the majors in runs scored, 5th in batting average. This is a scary, scary offense. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Padres at plus 108, the Dodgers at minus 118. We've got an over-under of 8.5 in this one. The Padres are 44-30 on the road, a great road team. The Dodgers are 50-27 at home, so obviously a great home team. And we've got mixed trends here towards the over-under, with the Dodgers being a huge over team at home. In terms of the over-under here, guys, I'm not that interested. I'll maybe even shade under 8.5, but I do like the Padres at plus 108 in this spot a good amount. I mean, Knack coming off of a good start, but the dude's been inconsistent, and I'm expecting very good stuff from Michael King in this game. So give me the Padres in this one as at least a small lean. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.